You're listening to Turi Writers' She Said What podcast. I'm Turi, along with Marcy Persky. In this installment, there are certain things you should not learn from the internet. Also, how the bulldog got its name and why you should not feel bad about eating duck eggs. Oh, and you can now listen to Turi Writers' She Said What podcast on YouTube. Sometimes, probably, not understanding my professional life is for the best.
The same with the computer. I don't want to understand my computer. That will take up way too many of the compartments in my brain that are still left. Those are too precious to me to waste with computer knowledge.
Well, and then there's the thing where you know how to do something, but you just don't care to do it.
Oh, yeah, I got a lot of those.
And the spousal unit, really, his fallback fighting line is, well, then you do it. My fallback response is, I can, but I'd rather pay somebody.
There you go. Frankie would just say, I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll do it. And so that makes me do things on the sly. And then when it doesn't turn out as planned, I'm in trouble.
Oh, because
For example,
he says,
last night,
yes.
I decided I was going to wash dishes. Wasn't going to ask anybody to wash dishes. I was going to do it.
Okay.
And I was washing a knife.
Oh, no.
And I just sliced my finger open, like really bad. So, and he was out in the cat lounge watching Boy TV with Molly and Eve. So I wrap it up in a paper towel and I run in the bathroom, to run it underwater and all this. And I thought I bandaged it so no one would see it. And I sat down, and Kaya, who stays with us, came home from work, and she said, aren't your dogs all fixed? And I said, yeah. And she said, well, there's like these giant drops of blood all over the floor. And she works for a vet's office, right?
Oh,
and
no.
I was like, oh no, that's me.
You're busted.
Well, and then I got double busted because Frankie came in and said, what'd you do? I said, I was washing a knife, and that's all I had to say.
Yeah, because he knows. We all know the rest. The minute you said I was washing a knife, yeah.
Yeah, I got the really, really nasty Frankie look.
Oh, no, that doesn't happen around here. Around here, it's please don't make me have to ask you 6 times, please, please. And I realize that that's because perhaps I have a long list of to-dos, but I also, my personal impression of Rumpelstiltskin jumping up and down till he goes through the floor is what seems to be required. In any case, there are a lot of things that I could get done, but I prefer not to. And then it becomes a sort of contest between and asking. It's kind of like what the other thing is, YouTube has added a whole new dimension to the guys who will not ask directions problem.
Oh, yeah, they'll watch YouTube.
Yes, because just 10 years ago, you would call somebody to do thing X, like
Right.
you wouldn't dream of tuck pointing your own house, right? That's a thing that,
Yeah, no.
but thanks be to YouTube, if something's wrong, the spousal unit may very well say, well, I can do that. And I cannot tell you how many times I have a little mantra now. You are a consultant. You are not a fill-in trade that he is not. And YouTube has just screwed up my whole life. There's a reason why people make a living doing these things.
And I can't do the how to do watch a video on YouTube. I did it for the first time.
Tying shoelaces
day
with a
before
hand brace
yesterday.
on? What was it? What?
No, it was something having to do with the air fryer, like how to cook something in the air fryer. And I couldn't find it from Googling, and all I could find was YouTube. And I was so impatient just waiting for that one tiny piece of information. And I had to go through all this blah, 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 blah.
When you
blah,
open
blah,
up
blah,
your
blah,
air
blah, blah.
fryer, there are 14 parts you will take out. Notice the wrapping is bright blue. Yeah, I got those.
Yeah, I mean, I know how to turn it on. I know, I just wanted to know how long to cook this one thing. And as I was watching this, it like reminded me. I was like, oh yeah, that's why I don't watch any of these how to
And
do
now
it
we have
things
to
on
circle
YouTube.
back to a get to know your computer problem.
Yeah.
I have a post it note that reminds me of how to play things at triple time so that I can get to the little tidbit that I need faster. And they don't even sound like chipmunks. It's not like it used to be. They just talk really fast until they get to the part where you need them to be so that you know how to fry the air fry thing in the air fryer and you haven't had to listen to 45 minutes of them going through the whole unboxing thing. Yes, it is bright blue. Yes.
You, I know how to do two things on my computer: podcast and email, and that's it.
Okay,
I don't
well,
know how to do anything else.
you need
I
some
don't want to
post-it
know.
notes. You need some post-it notes. I'm taking Spanish online. And I've been taking Spanish online. This is the second semester now. And still, I have to look at this post it right here that says to screenshot Shift Command 3 or for all Shift Command 4 select. And to this day, I can't remember which is the tiny part of this. I have to make a whole new post it note because I'm so mentally infirm that I can't remember which is just the little part of the screen. And then to make matters worse, the Spanish teacher will put up a slide and she'll say, please to screenshot all of this. And so you go to screenshot all of it. And then she starts adding stuff to it. Like it'd be like a recipe where she says, please to screenshot this. But the only part of the recipe you've screenshotted is look at that. That's a verb now, to screenshot. You've only screenshotted the dry ingredients, and then she throws up the wet ingredients, and then she throws up the baking time. So that would be the way it goes. And now you've got like a million screenshots. You don't know what any of them are. You have to go back and look at all of them and figure out which one you want to keep. And in the end, you just think, screw it. I'm in adult education. I don't need these credits. If I know 5 more words of Spanish than I knew at the beginning of the semester, that's money well
That's good.
spent. Yeah.
That's why I don't go to school. Like I said, all those little compartments in my brain are already filled mostly with nonsense. But every once in a while, I hit on something important. Like I have an extra child right now.
Yeah, I noticed Molly, you said Molly is in town.
Molly is visiting. And so Molly and Eve look nothing. They're like polar opposites as far as their looks.
Right.
And for some reason, I can't get their names right. But all weekend, I've been calling Molly Eve and Eve Molly.
Well,
And it drives them both nuts. And it reminds me when my mom used to call my brother Bob Flip all the time. And Flip was the dog's name.
I was just going to ask, have you started calling them by any of the pets' names? Because at that point, you need to sign up for one of those, pre-Alzheimer's memory extension classes.
I do have an interesting pet story for you, however.
Well, I would like to hear that. But first, I would like to suggest that when we tag this podcast for YouTube or for the internet, perhaps we should start adding aging and memory loss as hashtags to the podcast. Just a promotional thought there. Go ahead.
There you go. So I learned on Friday that bulldogs were actually bred to chase bulls.
Really?
Yeah, that's why they're called bulldogs.
Well, now the logical next question is, if the cows come back on your property.
That's exactly what happened. That's when I realized that bulldog means small, stocky, fire plug dog who chases cows.
Oh, no more
Because
cow problem.
We have been full of cows again. And the dog got out and she's little. She looks like a pig. She's a little pig with little short legs, but when she wants to move, she can move. And man, she went after these cows like you wouldn't believe.
Whoa.
And all the cows now have babies. So they are protective mama cows.
Oh boy.
And and we couldn't catch her. And at first the cows were just annoyed because these are really big cows. And she looks like, I don't know, she's like a mouse size to them. But at first they were looking annoyed, but then when she started chasing the babies, the cows were starting to get really annoyed. And so we're out. It was like a Benny Hill or Keystone Cops thing. We're running them into cows trying to catch the dog. And now she's really angry because she can't go out the front door anymore. Because she used to be able to come out and just sit on the deck. But not with the cows here, because we know that she can't control her instinct being a bulldog.
Now, let me ask you, At this point, you know where the cows live full time, and you have your
It's not
theory.
nearby.
But yes, but you have a
Yeah.
theory about why they're coming on your property, which is that the cow catcher that's supposed to keep them from crossing the road at the back of your property is covered with mud.
No, the cow catcher it's are actually both clear, but they're still getting through from way over on the other side. I spent an hour reading like the state laws for free range and grazing and all that.
Yeah, there's a use of your
And
time where you live.
yeah,
Yeah, useful.
yeah. I know I'm trying not to swear. I'm trying not to be churry and say bad words, but
Ooh.
it looks like our only recourse is to fence in our entire 5 acres, which I won't even begin to tell you how much that would
Well,
cost.
you just do it an acre at a time.
Yeah, they'll just walk right around the
Well,
fence.
I don't know. I think you put a bulldog run right around the edge of the property.
I'm thinking about just like putting bulldogs everywhere.
Get a whole lot of bulldogs. Yeah, I was gonna say get a whole lot of bulldogs. Just all of a
Frankie would
sudden,
love
like,
that.
why is this woman a serial adopter of bulldogs? What is happening on her
Oh,
property?
they would all know. I mean, there's nobody on this block, but the people a mile up that are having the same problem.
Oh, you've gotten to know your neighbors, have you?
No, I just read next door every now and then. We did meet one neighbor and bought fresh eggs over the weekend, so that was pretty exciting.
Was that connected to the get off my lawn problem you're having with the cows?
No, no, she just there was a sign went up over where we have that big group of
Ah,
mailboxes
yep, yep,
because nobody wants to drive down Marcy Persky Boulevard.
right.
And there was a sign that said fresh eggs $5 a dozen,
Huh.
duck eggs $8 a dozen.
What
So
eggs? $8 a dozen?
duck,
Duck. Oh, yeah,
duck.
those are pretty.
People out here love duck eggs. For some reason, I can't bring myself to buy them because I really, really like ducks. And I don't,
What?
it
No,
doesn't make sense.
I have a friend once who does parody characters on the radio.
Yeah.
And he had one of his parody characters, this was decades ago, arguing that spaying and neutering animals was unfair because they couldn't give informed consent. And
Okay.
I think your duck egg problem is a similar problem. Like what they don't care.
I know, but it's just in my head. I really like ducks,
Yeah,
and I
so
just can't eat duck eggs. And I've heard that they're so good, and
they're
they're
not
really like good at
fertilized
cooking.
duck eggs. They're kind of the analogy here is disgusting, so I'm not going to use it.
Yeah,
But
I
it's
know.
it's an
I don't
unused
know.
egg that the duck doesn't need. It's not going to turn into anything.
I have a lot of little quirks against things that I've never tried, as you know. And I figure I've lived this long that I can live without duck eggs. But I did get 2 dozen. They call them what do they call them? Bunny eggs, because they're all different colors. Like they're
Ah.
blue and pink. Then they come out of the chicken that way.
No, they come out of different chickens, different colors. It's not like
Right.
one chicken lays a blue egg one day and an orange egg the next day. It does not work like that. If you
You're
are
my chicken expert.
yeah, well, I have them. So,
But
yeah.
they're good.
I'm
The eggs are good.
weirdly having had chickens for many, many years and watching with interest the current fascination with having backyard chickens and watching with glee when people can't deal with their backyard chickens because it actually involves cleaning up a lot of chicken poop. I mean, a
Yep.
lot of chicken
Yep.
poop. I always think it's interesting. Do people think that you're feeding these chickens all these snacks and that what all the excretia is going to somehow vaporize? It's nasty stuff. So when I hear people talk about, oh, you get these beautiful eggs, and I think, get out your shovel, babe, get it out now.
Yeah. I grew up on a farm, and that little egg compartment in my brain seems to only remember brown eggs and white eggs, not these blue eggs and these pinkish eggs and all these different colored eggs that I'm getting.
Well, it's because people who have backyard chickens get fancy flocks. They want the Araucana, they want the Polish, they want
Well,
the.
this isn't really backyard out here. I mean, these eggs came from a ranch, a legitimate ranch with animals and acreage and stuff.
It doesn't mean they don't want fancy dancy chickens.
I bought 2 dozen for $10 and I'm happy, and they'll last us for a good long time till we leave to come in to your part of the world.
Oh, good. Well, that's good. I'm looking forward to having you here We're going to have a little meeting again to remind me what you won't eat, because I remember a lot of it, but not all of it.
I'll eat anything white.
I know that, but I don't think I can stand a whole week of cooking only things that are white. We're going to have to think of some other color that you can eat that's not a tropical drink. I'll work on it. Assuming you've come this far because you enjoy the podcast, may we recommend my book, She Said What? A Life on the Air. It's available at your neighborhood bookstore or on Amazon. And if you're feeling especially generous, please leave the podcast a good review. Thanks.